So good morning everyone. Welcome back to the another session of this chapter called as molecular basis of inheritance. So last class we have studied about a Frederick experiment and also the MacLeod and a McCarthy experiment. Right. So now moving on to this another continued with this Griffith experiment, and also that is another proof for the DNA as a genetic material. That is the Hershey-Chase experiment. It is also another proof for the DNA as a genetic material. So as I told, it is the another proof for the DNA as a genetic material came for the what? Came from the experiment of what? Hershey and the Chase in 1952. So these were the two scientists who have put forth this experiment to prove that DNA is a genetic material. So who worked, these two were worked with the bacteriophage. So what are bacteriophage? Viruses which infect the bacterial cell, it is called as bacteriophage. And the bacteriophage on infection. So the bacteriophage on infection, it has been injected only the DNA into the bacterial cell and that protein coat and that protein coat. So the bacteriophage, when it is infected, it has been injected only the DNA into the bacterial cell and not the protein coat. So the bacterial cell treat the viral DNA as its own and subsequently it will manufactures more viruses particles. So please do look into the textbook for the diagram as he conducted the experiment. So he took the bacteriophage. So bacteriophage means what? The virus which will infect the bacterial cell, which we called as bacteriophage. So the bacteriophages on infection, it been injected only the DNA into the bacterial cell and not the protein coat. So the bacterial cell which will treat the viral DNA as its own, and then what they will do, the subsequently they are going to manufacture the more virus particles, right? So he conduct the experiment taking by the radioactive elements. So now let us see what was the experiment. So they made two different preparation of the phages. So they have made what? Two different preparation of the phages. That is, they grew some viruses on a medium that contain radioactive phosphorus, that is 32P, that is radioactive phosphorus 32, and some other virus on the medium that contain the radioactive sulfur, that is 35S. Right. So they made a two different preparation of the phages. So where they grew some virus on a medium that contain the radioactive phosphorus and also the another virus on the medium that contain the radioactive sulfur, that is 35S. So these two scientists, they made what? They made the two, that is they have taken, they grew some viruses on a medium where they contain the radioactive elements, that is 32 phosphorus on the one and another one with the 35S sulfur. So these two are phages, that means preparations were allowed to infect what? So these two phages, so these two phages has been prepared. So as I told, they has been allowed to infect the bacterial cell separately. As I told, they have taken a two different preparation of the phages, and these two preparation of the phages has been allowed to infect the bacterial cell separately, right? So that is soon after the infection, the culture were gently agitated in a blender to separate a adhering protein coats of the virus into the bacterial cell. So what happened? The culture was also centrifuged to separate the viral coat and the bacterial cell. So there it was found that when the phages containing the radioactive DNA was used to infect the bacteria and it got injected to the bacterial cell. So what was the idea about all about for this experiments, the DNA is a genetic material and it is not the protein. So what they did, the Alfred Hershey and Martha Chase in 1952, they worked with the bacteriophage. So they were worked to discover whether it was a protein or a DNA is a genetic material, right? So what they did, they will work to discover whether it was a protein or a DNA is a what? Genetic material. So they grew some viruses on a medium where they contain a radioactive phosphorus, that is 32P, and some other viruses on a medium that contain the radioactive sulfur, that is 35. Yes. So what happened then? So the viruses has been grown in a medium culture. So they were containing the radioactive phosphorus 32 and the sulfur 35S, right? So they containing the radioactive phosphorus, they containing the radioactive DNA and but not the radioactive protein. So because why it is not contain a radioactive protein? Because the DNA contains the phosphorus but the protein does not. So as we know that the DNA contains the phosphorus but the protein don't have the phosphorus. So similarly, other virus has been grown on the radioactive sulfur, that is sulfur 35, which contain the what? Radioactive protein but not the radioactive DNA, because the DNA does not contain the sulfur, right? So this radioactive bacteriophage were allowed to infect the E. coli bacteria, has been infected to the bacterial cell separately, right? That is one was 32 phosphorus and the 35, yes, that is sulfur. So these two phages prepare were allowed to infect the bacterial cell separately. So soon after the infection, what happened? The viral coats or the capsid were removed from the bacteria by agitating them in a blender. So they have been put into the blender where the bacterial coat or the capsid were removed from the bacteria by agitating them in a blender. What will happen then? The virus particles were separated from the bacteria by centrifugation process. So the virus has been removed from the bacteria by the process of centrifugation. So finally they were observed that the bacteria which was infected with the virus that had a radioactive DNA were radioactive. So but bacteria that were infected with the virus that had a radioactive protein were not the radioactive. So this was the conclusion which was given by Hershey and the Chase experiment. There it will clearly indicates that the protein did not carry the information from virus to bacteria, but the DNA is the one which will carry the information from virus to what? Bacteria. So this was the experiment which was conducted by whom? That is Hershey and the Chase in 1952. Right. As we know that DNA is the material for a transfer of a character from the parents to the offsprings, where the genes play a very important role in a passing of the character from one generation to the another generation, from the parents to the offspring. So we already studied about the two very important nucleic acids, that is DNA and the RNA. We also studied about the experiment of Griffith, that is Frederick Griffith, and as well as the Hershey Chase experiment. Right, you have understood this experiment where they proved that DNA is a genetic material that is responsible for the transformation, and the transforming principle was laid down by the Frederick Griffith and the Hershey and the Chase. So this was the experiment which will prove that DNA is a genetic material, not the protein. Now, what are we going to study in today's session? So let us understand what are the properties of this genetic material. Let us understand what are the properties of this genetic material, that is the DNA. So why genetic material is so very important for the human being? As we know that genes play a very important role in the life of an individual. So if at all the gene won't work properly, So then definitely we are going to face some problems like the genetic disorder. So what are the very important properties of this DNA? Then, so the first one, it states that it should be able to generate the what? Generate its replica. So replica means make an exact copy of itself. So as we know that gene, that is a DNA, is never a single strand structure. It is always a double stranded structure, and one of the parental strand has to go to the offsprings, and one of the offspring DNA with the parental DNA, which is called as what? Template DNA, will make a replica of itself with the same pattern of the nitrogenous base. So the first and foremost property is what? It should be able to generate its replica. So as we know that the DNA replication, which will take place in the S phase of the mitotic cell division. So it should be able to generate its replica, that is replication. So what is this replication? What does replication means? So an exact copy of itself. Next, it should be chemically and structurally be stable. That is a very important property. Second property is what? It should be chemically and structurally be stable. So what will happen if the DNA is not stable? And as I said, if it is not stable, it is going to cause a problem. May it be like a genetic disorder. So always chemically, as well as we know that the DNA is a chemically made up of what? They are that the DNA has been chemically composed of three very important chemical components, that is the sugar, 4 nitrogenous base, and the phosphoric acid. Phosphoric acid. So chemically, so what is the chemical composition of the DNA? Deoxyribose sugar and the 4 nitrogenous bases, then the phosphoric acid. So it should be chemically and structurally be stable. So next is the, it should provide a scope for slow changes, that is mutation. So that is required for evolution. Yes, of course. You know, the variation is a very important, and the variation is the one step important for evolution. But it should be provide the scope for slow changes that are required for the evolution. As we know that sometimes the gene get mutated. So the DNA which will undergo mutation, that is a sudden heritable changes. But as we know that the mutation may be benefited to the human mankind, or it may be not, may be harmful to the human mankind. So it should be always beneficial to the human mankind. If it not, means it is going to cause what? Some genetic disorder. So it should be able to express itself in the form of what? Next character. It is a, that is why as I told, it should provide the scope for a slow changes that is required for the evolution. Next is the, it should be able to express itself in the form of Mendelian character. As we know that dominant characters should express itself, and it will suppress the recessive character. So all those, like it should be able to express itself in the form of Mendelian character. So these are the properties of the genetic materials. So hope so you have understood the properties of the genetic material. Now let us understand what is the difference between DNA and RNA. As we know that DNA and RNA are the nucleic acids, which is found in where? Nucleus of the cell, and which will shows what? Acidic property. So but we also know that DNA is always a double stranded, and they will act always as a genetic material. But in case of RNA will be exist in the two form. One is a genetic form, when it is acting like a genetic material in some organism, and in other form called as non-genetic RNA, where it will involve in the process of what? Protein synthesis. Now let us understand what is the difference between this DNA and the RNA. with respect to the chemical composition, how this DNAs differ from the RNA, right? So you have to get this property and as well as the difference. It is very important for your point of the exam. So what is the difference between DNA and RNA? As we know, the DNA is a double helix, right? Whereas RNA is a single stranded. As we know that DNA is a double stranded and the RNA is a single stranded. It is a single, right? So what is the next difference of this DNA and RNA? So it has a thymine. So chemically composed of what? The DNA. So they have a adenine, guanine, cytosine and the thymine. Where in RNA, thymine has been replaced by what? Uracil, right? So here thymine is present. It is uracil is present. Right, they chemically composed of what? Thymine and they are uracil. And here the DNA is a deoxyribose, whereas RNA is a ribose sugar, right? So, and in here the DNA which have a one particular property that they have the self-replicating molecule, whereas the RNA, so it is synthesized from the DNA. The DNA will give the permission to RNA for the synthesis. They will monitor. So they will give the signal to RNA. Right. So here in DNA, it forms a genetic material in most of the organism. So this even the RNA also act as a genetic material only in some viruses. Right. So next is when compared to the RNA, DNA is very large and the RNA is very smaller. So here this DNA is been found in the nucleus, whereas here the RNA, it is largely found in where? Cytoplasm. So it is found in the cytoplasm. So these are the very important difference between DNA and the RNA. It is a double stranded molecule. It is a single stranded molecule. It has a thymine nitrogenous base. It has a uracil nitrogenous base. It has a deoxyribose. It has a what? Ribose sugar. And the DNA are self-replicating molecule, where here the RNA they will synthesize from the DNA. They will form a genetic material in the most of the organism. Here the RNA they will form a genetic material only in some viruses. It is larger and it is smaller. So it is largely found in the nucleus. The RNA will be found in the cytoplasm. So this is a very important difference between the genetic material. So that is DNA and the RNA. So now moving on to the next very important concept is as we have told that Watson and Crick. So these two were the scientists who proposed the double helical model for the DNA structure. So they are the person who put forth the double helical model of a DNA structure. So these are the so they were the opinion that the first genetic material. So what was the opinion? RNA was the first genetic material. So there is no what? There is no there has some evidence. They have enough evidence to suggest that DNA has evolved from RNA. And not all that, there is some chemical modification taking place in DNA which has made the DNAs more stable, right? Then as I said, DNA replication process, that is replication means what? It is a formation of exact copy of a DNA from the parent DNA. So when will the DNA replication takes place? It takes place in the what? S phase. S phase of mitotic division, that is mitotic cell division. So the semi-conservative model of DNA replication which was proposed by Watson and Crick, right? So that is the thing which was proposed by Watson and Crick. That is a semi-conservative model of DNA replication was proposed by Watson and Crick. Now moving on to the enzyme machinery. Here we should understand what all the enzyme they have been played a very role in the formation of the semi-conservative model. So we should understand, and it is like the two polynucleotide strands are wounded around each other. But in case of DNA replication, it is unwinds, right? So that is unwinding of two helical polynucleated strand is done by an enzyme called as what? Helicase. It is the enzyme called as what? Helicase or unwindase. So the enzyme called as what? Helicase and the unwindase. So here this enzyme, you can see here. So you can see here like that it is just like a what? Twisted manner. It becomes unwinding like this. So here it become unwinding like this. Unwinding like this. This is called as what? Unwinding. So this is called as what? Unwinding. And this unwinding of DNA helical structure, it is done by an enzyme called as helicase or unwindase. So this helicase or the unwindase which will unwind the two strands of DNA at a specific site called as ORI site. At a specific site called as ORI site. So first very important mechanism in DNA replication is what? It is a double-stranded DNA. That is, the helical structure of DNA will unwind during the process of unwinding. What is the enzyme that is involved in the process of unwinding? It is a helicase. It is also called as what? Unwindase. Okay, at a specific point called as ORI site. So there are topoisomerase, so which cuts and reseal the DNA that is necessary to separate the supercoil in the DNA molecule. So here you can see this. So here what will happen? The daughter cell which has a which received the parent. So here you can see this portion. So this is called as the template stranded. This is called as what? Template stranded. That is also called as what? Template stranded. So for this template stranded, it make a copy, right? It will make a copy. So here if it is like a so if I am taking A, what will happen? A, T, G, C. So here A, T, A, C, G. Right. So like this it makes an exact copy of itself. So topoisomerase cuts and reseal the DNA that is necessary to separate the supercoils in the DNA molecule. Right. So it will cut and reseal the DNA molecule. This RNA primase which will form a short segment of RNA called as RNA primase. So this RNA polymerase, this will replace what? RNA primer which will picks up the complementary nucleoside and synthesize the new DNA. So this complementary base pairing is what? So according to this Irwin Chargaff, A will base pair to the double bond, that is T. A will base pair to the double bond T, C will base pair to the triple bond G. Right. So this is called the basic base particles. See for example, here see here if it is like you can see here. Sorry. So like here you can see here, as I told, A T G C A T A T G C T A C G, right? So same pattern. So it will go for in the what? So it will go for in the same source of the complementary base pairs. See that A, T, G, C and T, A, C, G. So it will go for in search of the complementary base pair. So A will go in search of T, C will go in search of G and G will go in search of C and T will go in search of A. So it will make a copy, exact copy. So it is almost like a original strand. So the DNA ligase we know that. So the DNA ligase joins the fragments of DNA ligase in a molecule where it is a, as we know the DNA ligase is a molecular stitcher. So it joins the fragments of DNA which is called as what? Okazaki fragment. Which we call as what? Okazaki fragments. So you will understand better through this diagram, and for that diagram please do the refer the notes and visit the what textbook. See this diagram and please refer the notes for the better diagram. So you can see this lagging strand and the topoisomerase. So this is here is the what? This is the what? Unwinded. So the where it is bind, sorry, it is a winded. So this topoisomerase it is a parental strand which is also called as what? Template strand. So this topoisomerase is a parental strand which is also called as template stranded. So this template stranded which is also called as what? Leading strand, which is also called as leading strand. So here you can see that primase, helicase, and also this is the Okazaki fragment. This is the Okazaki fragment. This is the primase, RNA primase. It will come here. This is what? RNA primase and this is the leading strand. This is the leading strand and all. So the mechanism of replication of DNA will takes place like this. So the enzyme, the helicase or the einwindase, the two stranded of a DNA at a specific site called as what? ORI site. ORI site, and unwinding of DNA is just like a forming what? Y shaped. So just like this. Just like this, it form a Y shape. So unwinding of DNA will forms a Y-shaped structure called as replication fork and a replication eye. So the enzyme topoisomerase which will cuts and reseal the DNA that is necessary to separate the supercoils in the DNA molecule. So each single stranded DNA act as what? Template for the synthesis of what? New strand. So here the parental strand will always be called as what? Template strand, which will pass through on the daughter cells, and the daughter cells will start making a new strand for the parental strand, that is a template strand. So a short segment of RNA called as RNA primer will picks up the complementary nucleosides and they will synthesize the new DNA. So the synthesis of new DNA always occurs in what direction? That is in the 5 strand and the 3 strand direction. So it is always anti-parallel. Since the two strands are anti-parallel, so if one strand it is 5 strand to 3 strand and another strand will be the 3 strand to 5 strand. So one strand is synthesized continuously and it is called as what? Leading strand. And the other parental strand, short fragments of a DNA which we call as what? Okazaki fragments are formed which will join by the enzyme called as DNA ligase. This strand is called as what? Lagging strand. Understood? So why it is called as semi-conservative process? Because half of the parental strand is retained the daughter cells and hence the name semi-conservative. So semi-conservative means what? Semi means half, conservative means preserve. So half of the parental strand is conserved or preserved in the daughter cells and hence the name semi-conservative process, because the daughter DNA contains one old and the one new strand. So obviously the daughter cells will have one of the main parental strand and a new strand. So the old strand is of the what? Parental strand. So that is how the children or the offspring which will be resembles their parent. So one original parental strand is passed to the daughter cells, and for that original parental strand the complementary strand is made up of what? That complementary that stands the complementary strand. It is made by utilizing what they will utilize. As I told, one original parental strand is passed to the daughter cell, and for that original parental strand, the complementary strand, it is made by utilizing by the complementary base pair. So that is the reason why most of the children are resemble their parent. So they are bidirectional and the semi-discontinuous. So hope you have understood this DNA replication. Now moving on to the next very important experiment, that is the experimental proof of the semi-conservative nature of DNA replication. This experimental proof for the semi-conservative nature of DNA replication was given by Matthew C., which is given by the scientist called as Matthew C. He performed the following experiment in 1958. In 1958, a scientist called as Matthew C. performed the following experiment, that is the experimental proof for the semi-conservative nature of DNA replication in 1958. So, what is this experiment all about? This is an experiment to prove that DNA which will undergo the semi-conservative DNA replication. So, what did they do? They grew E. coli, that is Escherichia E. coli, in a medium which contain 15 NH4Cl. NH4Cl. So, that is 15 ammonium chloride. This where the 15N is the heavy isotope. This 15N is a heavy isotope of the nitrogen. So as the only nitrogen source of many generation, the result was that the 15N was incorporated into newly synthesized DNA. How was it possible for the incorporate of 15N into a newly synthesized DNA? When it is subjected to a medium which containing a 15 NHCl, that is ammonium chloride, so this heavy DNA molecule could be distinguished from the normal DNA by centrifugation. How it possible for differentiating a newly synthesized DNA having a 15N and the old DNA? So this heavy DNA molecule could be distinguished from the normal DNA by centrifugation in the cesium chloride, that is cesium chloride, then that is density gradient, and then it is being transferred the cells into the medium with a normal, that is 14 NH4Cl. Later what they did, they transferred the cells, that is E. coli cells, into a medium with a normal 14 ammonium chloride and took a samples of various in time intervals. So as the cells multiplied and extracted the DNA that remained as a double-stranded helices. So listen carefully. What did they do? They subject the E. coli cells into the medium called as a heavy isotope called as 15 NH4Cl. Then were able to incorporate what? that is 15N is the newly synthesized DNA cell. Then they transferred the cells into the medium with a normal 14 NaCl, that is ammonium chloride, and they took the sample of it in a various time interval as the cell multiplied, and they have extracted the DNA that remained as a double stranded helicase. So the various samples were separated independently on the cesium chloride gradient. It measures the density of DNA. Why was it passed on to the cesium chloride density gradient? Why it is so? It because to measure the density of the DNA when it was transferred to the normal, that is 14 NH4Cl. With all this experiment, they were able to prove that the DNA was the extracted from the culture from one generation after the transfer of 15N to the 14N medium after 20 minutes, which had a hybrid. What do you mean by hybrid? It is a mixture or an intermediate density they got. And the DNA extracted from that culture after another generation, after 40 minutes, they was composed of equal amount of the hybrid DNA and of light DNA. So there was a mixture of hybrid DNA as well as the light DNA. So when it was subjected from one transfer to the another transfer, he was able to prove that the semi-conservative method of DNA replication. So that is how he proved that with his experiment where that the semi-conservative nature of the DNA replication. Now in next class we will discuss about the ribonucleic acid, that is the RNA world.